What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to part 2 of what is your if only. So before we jump in, first and foremost, I just wanted to say thank you for participating in the question of the week. We had a great response over on the Facebook page. If you guys are not on that private page, check it out, Vitamin P Workout Club. But it was awesome. We had a ton of insight into your if only. So things that are, your pain points, your sticky points, your roadblocks, etc. So thank you guys for sharing. I know it's not always super easy, and I'm super pumped to help you out with all that stuff here shortly. Second thing, if you answered the question as a one-part question. So for me, my if only is time, right? If only I had more time. Then what would happen, right? What would happen if I had more time? So the reason that we do this into a two-part question, if all of us collectively get together and we only say, if only this, if only that, if only this, we're just complaining, and it's not constructive. We're not moving the needle. We're never going to get better. But what happens is if we pose an if only and then describe what our ideal outcome is, so if only I had more time, then I would be able to get more work done, and we can continue to dive deeper and peel back the layers of those onions as we go, you start to paint a picture. And what happens a lot of times is you realize that the if only is only kind of an excuse, right? It's something that we lean on because we don't really have a clear picture of what would happen, the positive after the if only. So if that was you, if you answered the question as a one-parter, so if only this, I want you to take a second and think about the second part of it. So if only blank, what is the positive that would happen? I'm literally gonna pause here for a second and I'm gonna let you think about it. All right, so if you have both parts of that question already, hopefully you had a chance to rethink about it and just make it fresh in your mind. And if you didn't do that part, you should be ready to go for this next little conversation. So I have all of the answers right here to the post. So something interesting, everyone's answers were obviously pretty different, but there are some huge similarities. So I'm not gonna be able to go through all of the specific answers today, but two things. Hopefully the general principles that we can take out of this will help you with your specific if only. And if not, as always, schedule a call with me. Doing free calls and consultations, and we can just chat about your if only and how to make a plan going forward. So that's always an option. If at the end of this video, you're like, I need a little bit more specific guidance, click the link, schedule a time. What up, Nick? I need help. Okay, let's do this. Let's rock and roll, and we'll get you on the right path. So just know that that's always an option if we don't get to your specific needs today. All right, so going through some of these, I want to list some of the if onlys, and then we'll talk about some general principles that apply to all of them. We'll pick a specific problem out of here, address that one and how to fix that, and then we'll just apply some really nice principles, and I have a book recommendation at the end of this too. So let's rock and roll. Some if onlys. If only I had more willpower. If only I had some more self-respect. If only I did not have anxiety. If only I could not snack late at night, or snacking kind of in general. If only I had more tolerance. If only I had more self-discipline and control. If only I wasn't so cynical. If only I had more consistency. So all really common if onlys, but these are the ones that were front runners on the comment section. So let's talk about a specific one in here. So I think food for most of us. So I'm going to put two of these together. I'm going to go with the self-discipline and control and the snacking. So we'll start with the self-discipline and control. If only I had more self-discipline and control. So self-discipline and control is, think of it as like internet bandwidth, right? You have a certain amount of speed that can process at one time. And if you are set up in your day-to-day and you're just kind of going through the motions and there's not really a plan, it takes a lot of bandwidth because you have to make a decision every single part of your day. All right, so kind of a confusing way to look at it, but think about lunch, right? How often do you plan your lunch? If you don't meal prep, have you ever planned your lunch? Probably not, right? But having that decision made for you either that morning of or the night before or the week before, whenever you'd like to do your planning, is hugely powerful. Then there's no brain power that needs to go towards that thought of what is for lunch or what's for dinner or what's for breakfast or what am I going to wear. All those little things, believe it or not, play into our ability to have self-discipline and control. If you're using half of your bandwidth on things that could have been planned out the day before, like clothes and food and travel or gas or errands, you're going to waste all that bandwidth on those things that should be used for things like family, job, whatever is going to move the needle for you that day. So with self-discipline and control, it's less about self-discipline than you think and more about just taking control. You're not just gonna get hit with a lightning bolt and I have control over everything. No one does, right? But if you can plan and really be meticulous about your planning, hold yourself to your calendar. So plan your workouts, plan your lunch, plan where you're gonna eat, when you're gonna eat, what you're gonna eat, how you're gonna get there, where you're gonna go, errands, plan when you're gonna go, give yourself travel time, build in buffer time. So if you hit traffic or you spend too much time shopping or whatever, there's a million variables, you don't freak out. So plan. And then the second side of that is don't freak out if you have to call an audible, right? That's where you get to use your bandwidth. If everything's been planned and it's 2:00 in the afternoon and the wheels fall off the bus, right? You hit a traffic jam because there was an accident, kids are late, whatever, work's calling. It's usually a freak out moment, especially that late in the day. But if your day has gone smoothly up until then, you have a lot of brain power left to be able to handle those situations. So self-discipline and control is a huge if only. We all have it. It's right here. You just have to plan. You have to plan for it and hold yourself accountable to that plan and to that schedule. Easy piggyback is snacking. So snacking is something that comes up a lot with all of my clients and folks that I talk with. Snacks. Stop buying snacks that you shouldn't be eating. Yeah, but my kids eat them. Stop feeding your kids snacks that you shouldn't be eating. That's it. Super simple. All right. There's going to be stuff that you have in the house that you shouldn't eat. Have a better plan mapped out. So have a better option mapped out. So if you have gummy snacks for your kids, have an apple in the fridge and know that you're going to go for the apple. Don't say, well, I saw Cheez-Its on sale and I got 2 for 1, and you're not going to stop eating Cheez-Its. I know what those things taste like. You're going to eat the whole box and you're going to feel terrible afterwards. So if it is something that you really, really enjoy, like that snacking is like, I really like my chocolate or I really like my Cheez-Its, portion it out, make it part of your treat or your plan or your macros, however you're doing your nutrition. If it's something like it's for my kids or for my wife or for my brother or for my mom, whatever, don't have a better option or just don't have it in the house. Those are like the simplest, least sexy options I can give you. But for me personally, I don't like doing personal anecdotes too much, but if it's in the house, I'm going to eat it. So we don't buy any crap because if it's in the house, I'm just going to eat it, like guaranteed. And when we do buy crap, it's with the full intention of I'm going to enjoy the crap out of this thing. So always keep it in perspective, right? If you're going to have a snack and you really enjoy it and it's going to be your win for the week, it's planned. It's part of the schedule. There should be no guilt associated with that. You've planned it into your meals. You've eaten well throughout the week, whether that's macros or you do some other planning, that's all good. But if it's just there and it's 10 o'clock at night and you're watching a good show and you're just like, that sucks. No one feels good after that. You feel like you feel cheated the next day. So don't have it in the house. If it's for you, plan it out, portion it out. If you need to have it in the house for family members, have another option for you readily available so you can get right past it. All right. So moving on to like big general things that we can do. I already talked a lot about planning, so I'm not going to go over that again too much, but just take it a step further. Have a routine where every morning you wake up or every night before you go to bed, you plan out the next day, at least the next day. So what that plan looks like, plan your workout, what time you're going to work out, who you're going to work out with, what you're going to do, how much time it's going to take, shower time, travel time, transition time, etc. It all needs to be planned out. Plan out your food, not just breakfast, lunch, dinner, or breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner. Plan out what you're gonna eat. So if you need to go to the grocery store, plan that into your day. Those are all things that can start piling on each other. You know, if you don't have anything for lunch, chances of you making a bad decision are gonna skyrocket, because if you have to run to the grocery store during your middle of your day, you're probably not going to. You're probably gonna either reach for something convenient, skip lunch, which is just as detrimental for some of us, or you're gonna order something. You're gonna order something, which means you're spending money you probably don't need to. It throws you out of whack. So plan. I can't say it enough. Plan. And with everything else, as far as willpower, self-respect, anxiety, instead of looking at the if only for those things, I really want you to focus on the second part of that. So what would not having anxiety do? What would having more self-respect do? What would being less cynical do on yourself? So I'm going to use the cynical one as my specific example. If only I was less cynical on myself, I wouldn't worry about letting others down. And that's a very common thing. We're very concerned with either what other people think or letting them down, like letting people down, letting people see you fail. So first of all, define what failure is with that. We're all over the place with those things. And you're projecting what you feel like is a failure onto someone else, and you're going to assume that failure is letting them down. Stop. Do the best you can. Have a plan. Make sure things are moving in the right order, and make sure it's in the right box. So is this for you? Is this for family? Is this for financial? Is this for professional? Where does this action or where does this thought fall? And is it going to be better for that? And that's it. And if you truly believe it's going to be better, it's going to be better. So run with it. You can't worry about what other people think. You should use other people for feedback and constructive feedback and lean on those, your circle. But you can't worry. You're never going to make everyone happy no matter what. You should be striving to make yourself happy, striving to make those around you happy, and just striving to be better, and everything else is going to level up. So quick recap. I know I kind of went all over the place, but as you guys saw, the if onlys kind of jumped everywhere. Actually, before I do my recap, I recommend reading the book Principles by Ray Dalio. It's a pretty big game changer for me. Interesting read because you don't have to read it like a normal book, and if you pick it up, you'll know what I'm talking about. But awesome book. It puts a lot of what I'm talking about here into perspective. So grab that book. I don't get any kickback or anything like that. Go to Amazon or whatever, buy that book. Read it. You'll enjoy it. It puts a lot of things in perspective. Secondly, things to do that we can do as soon as you turn this video off. Plan. Start small, plan the next day. That will lead into weeks, months, etc. You can start to put a pretty picture in place for where you want to go. The second part of that, as you're planning, you can't necessarily be married to your schedule. So can do two ways. If something happens, you can't let it freak you out. You just got to be able to roll with those punches. But the more that you're planned, the less exhausting it will be when you have to switch on the fly. Also, feeling like you've been going towards something for so long, so you don't want to pull back. The ladder analogy is the best thing. If you're climbing a ladder and you're 3/4 of the way to the top, but you don't want to be at the top of that ladder, you want to be on the ladder to the next one. What are you going to do? You're going to climb all the way down and go all the way back up. It's the same thing. That's why it's scary, because it seems like it's a big undertaking, right? So just make sure those things are always going to change, but don't be afraid of that change. So have a target. If that target shifts, you have to be really honest with yourself. Shift with it. Get off the ladder, get on a new one, remake the plan, make them proper adjustments, and get after it. If you guys want to talk about your specific if onlys and go a little bit deeper into your specific needs, my schedule button is open. So I said that at the beginning of the quarantines, making another video that we're going to post out this week. And every video from here on out. If you guys need me, my link is always open. You can schedule a call. We can take as much time as you need, go over your situation, your needs, your wants, and how I can help. So I hope this video was helpful. I'm really pumped to do question number 2 next week. That video will be out Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in. As always, make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube. Head over to that YouTube page and subscribe. And if you ever need anything, click on the link. Let's schedule some time. I look forward to chatting with you. Peace.